Hello all, it's your lovable alien catboy from a parallel universe, Magi here. I'm going to be doing something a little different today. We are going to be doing a 3-part video essay with practical demonstrations in a couple of different areas, including why our brains work the way we do, how we see magic because of illusions, etc., and how real magic might exist in a form that we as yet don't understand, which might explain things from the spirit clean through to, well, you know, other things along those lines. But yeah, so let's start off. Today's video, which sparked this all, was actually an interview by Neil deGrasse Tyson with a neuroscientist by the name of Susana Martina Conde. She specializes in how the brain perceives illusions, and she actually mentioned a very interesting fact, which I think would be interesting to see for you guys to get an idea of why illusions work in the brain the way we do. So let's continue.
You got to explain to me how not seeing reality as it is somehow to our survival benefit.
Well, for one, seeing reality exactly as it is, we don't have the neural machinery that can do that. We just don't have the hardware or the software that would be necessary. The computing power would be disastrous. And so metabolically, and just think about reaction times, we don't need to see reality as it is. We need to see reality as close enough so we can make it out alive.
Interesting, because...
So that's the interesting part about why we see reality not as it is, but only just enough to make it out alive. This is one of the reasons why illusions are so effective. Earlier in the clip, Dr. Martinez Conde was talking about how illusions can actually help improve our reaction times and stuff, and our brain just won't see illusions any other way. Well, human brains won't at any rate, because of the fact that that's the way the brain is wired. As you heard, the processing power and the metabolic rate required to see reality as it is just too overly complicated. So I thought I'd do a couple of quick magic tricks to illustrate this point and reveal how your brain gets hacked as easily as it does. Now for this one, I want to show you about how your brain processes angles. So for this one, I'm going to quickly draw out a card trick. Just a simple deck of cards here. And what we're going to do is we are going to take the top card off the deck. Doesn't matter what it is. 7 of hearts. I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it right back inside the deck, right about here. Snap. And it comes back up to the top. Now I will do this again by putting some cards out so you can see that I'm pushing it in. And then once again, snap, and lo and behold, it's back up at the top. One more time, I will take it, push some out in the middle right there so you can see it goes in. And lo and behold, when I snap it, it comes back up to the top. There are no duplicates. So you're probably wondering how I managed to make that card appear and fool your brain. Well, there is actually a little wrinkle in psychology which can be easily applied in this trick, and I'll show you what it is. Let's just pick a random card so I can show you the inside secret. It doesn't matter. This one, King of Spades, again, doesn't matter if I see it or not. Looks like it's Mufasa from this Lion King deck. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to punch it out, and as you can see, it makes it look like it's actually gone into the middle of the deck, just like I did the last 2 times. However, that is your impression that I've put the card in the middle of the deck, partly by angling and partly by this imprinted front card here. If I turn it sideways, you can see that the card is only second in position. So that this way, when I snap my fingers, I am able to make it appear that I am holding 1 card, when in fact, I am holding 2. Then I make it down into the deck either by pushing to reinforce the illusion and actually push it in, or just by putting it in, snap, and the card that you're looking for, the King of Spades, is back on top. Now, the reason I showed you this in this particular manner is just to illustrate what Dr. Martinez-Conde was saying about the inability of us to perceive illusions any other way than our brain is wired because we can't perceive reality as a whole. I thought this would be a unique way of looking at things. Now, the question is, though, is that what does this tell us about the nature of consciousness? Because so many books that I've been reading, including by Sleights of Mind, the Neuroscience of Everyday Deceptions by Dr. Conde, talks about how the research into magic could actually elucidate some information about consciousness. Well, the latest research into consciousness does seem to actually suggest that there might just be more than the three basic dimensions that we're working in, partly from papers involving extra dimensions and partly involving papers involving entanglement, in connection both with higher dimensions and how they work in the brain. And I thought I'd show you a few of those sources now. So first off, we have from Arturo Tozzi from 2016, published in Nature, towards a fourth dimension of spatial activity in the brain. And going through here, they talk about what a hypersphere is, meaning a fourth spatial dimension. And they even say that there is possible way to track evidence for this based on fMRI findings, that they could literally find from resting brain states evidence of this extraspatial dimension. They even go on, so like they said, are there proof or clues of brain hypersphere? But yes, apparently when looking at resting states, they are able to do a dimensional twist and find that there is a signature of consciousness, as it were, reflecting a higher dimensional process that would be helping with the brain. Now, immediately following this, they wrote another article from in another paper called the International Journal of Theoretical Physics, which literally suggests that a entanglement is just a connection embedded in the fourth extraspatial dimension. Now, this actually presents possibilities because not only that, but according to a study from Arturo Tozzi and others in MDPI, they did manage to find evidence of, they were able to use Fourier analysis to find evidence of hypersphere activity in EEG traces. Not only that, but there is some evidence of work recently that quantum optical fibers are in the brain to help fight Alzheimer's disease. And you can see the full paper here. And on top of that, that even if photons generate in the myelin sheath in order to help sync neural firing. Copies of this paper can be found on ArXiv as well. But yes, basically a concavity in the myelin sheath can generate entangled photon pairs, and this can sync neural firing, which according to one source may travel only slower than the speed of sound. So it looks like entanglement may be part of the process for how the brain works. So now this raises the question, well, if entanglement is the process of things, and and recent studies show that quantum optical fibers may be leading for quantum computing in the brain, as per the tryptophan study. So then this leaves the question: where do we go from here? Now that we know that entanglement is a part of the process of the brain, well, that plus also the fact that we can't see everything leads to blind spots. Does that mean that we can use the blind spots of the brain to possibly highlight areas in science and other related fields where we can't figure out why things are the way they are? Maybe the reason we can't see things is because of the classical component of the computing necessary in order to be able to make things work. So in order to be able for the brain function to happen, so we just can't see everything, even with possible quantum protocols being worked in the brain. So for that end, I am now going to bring out a classic magic trick, which will illustrate a possible finding involving, how shall I say, entanglement-related issues and actually solving what entanglement is. This is going to lead to the second part of our video where I talk about how the reason why I prefer doing magic for solving science problems is because perhaps some of the science problems that we face are not, how shall we say, solvable due to human blind spots in the brain that allow illusions to work in the first place. So, I'm going to bring up two sources which show a contradiction of one another, and then I'd like to illustrate, using a magic trick, how these two look similar, and maybe this would be a way to answer the problem once and for all. So, give me a second here. I'm just going to pull up two more studies here which need to be brought in. So this one is going to be quantum entanglement, just a correlation. And this study from Scientific Reports says entanglement, in pure states, entanglement and correlation are indistinguishable. Yet, according to this paper from Nature, the general Nature, they did find that a traversable wormhole was between two particles when a qubit was transferred from one particle to another in quantum teleportation. So this basically shows two contradictory sources, one saying that the quantum entanglement is just a correlation, the other one saying information transfer is possible. So I'd like to bring out a dice trick to illustrate this particular phenomenon. What we have here is two film canisters and a dice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour out the dice, and I'm just going to randomly twist it around here, put the lid up, not look at a thing, and that will go there, so I haven't seen it. I haven't seen what it is, and I'm going to put the lid on. Now, once again, you can't see through the front. Right down here, can't see through the front. Can't see through the back. Put it upside down here. In the second one, can't see through the front. Can't see through the back. Now I'm going to try to clairvoyantly guess the number, or use a quantum teleportation method to see if I can find the number in this secured method. And the answer is even, low range, 2. And lo and behold, when I open the lid, it is in fact 2. Now the question is, did that look like a normal guessing game, or did it look like there was a hidden information transfer channel? I will leave this in the description for those who are watching, either on the streaming site or on YouTube, and you guys post your answers in the comments below on this one, because in a later video/stream, I will reveal the secret of what that trick is, and then perhaps we can solve quantum entanglement as to what it actually is, from these competing values by taking a look at this particular magic trick. This is just one example of how to solve the problem. Anyway, I'll put this away, and now we'll get to the third part of our talk. So, we know roughly that consciousness is a combination of entanglement and neural firing. We know that we cannot process everything, we cannot process reality as it truly is, because it does not benefit our survival. So we're going to get a distorted view of reality no matter what, which means that we are easily fooled. Now we need to start figuring out how are we going to be able to find what sources of information, even from those we can trust and secondary sources, are reliable, especially when dealing with information of consciousness, especially if, as, let's put it this way, as quantum teleportation suggests. Let me see. Quantum information. According to one other bit about consciousness which needs to be dealt with, the no-hiding theorem, which is basically tied to here, so we've got a system, literally says that there is there is no way information is never lost. Quantum data can either be created or destroyed. And so as a result, well, long story short, this particular study shows that quantum information cannot be destroyed. So what happens to consciousness data after we die? Well, if part of that is quantum in nature, that information has to quantum teleport somewhere. However, for accuracy reasons, because quantum teleportation requires a sublight signal to confirm that the information transferred properly through the appropriate realm, that means that to ensure someone's survival beyond death, one would have to transfer sublight information to a quantum computer, make sure that you reconstructed the memories appropriately, and then quantum teleported the consciousness after the body died. But that also does imply that some information is stored somewhere of quantum information. So if it's never truly lost, where does it go after we die? That's something that needs to be considered. But it also means that when it comes to processing reality insofar as we can, we have a limited number of options as to how we're going to be able to take data. And to be perfectly honest, the issues regarding, using science to the best of our ability do get us an approximation. But, when we get to problems like entanglement and correlation versus information transfer, how do we talk to how do we talk to people and figure out the actual solution to what's going on so we can know what we can and can't do with things like entanglement and possible wormholes if they exist. But this also leads to a question about how many other blind spots do we have? And I'm thinking about the possibilities of, what can magic do in order to be able to help arrive at the truth? And what other methods can we use that are in close approximation? Can we merge methods that look spiritual, since we know that entanglement is at play, and does provide some sort of correlation? Can we merge that with the usage of conditional probability in order to be able to predict the future? So for that in mind, we're now going to get to the third phase of today's live stream, where I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take a question. I'm just going to make a question up, and I'm going to try to do a 3-card tarot reading. Then based on the results I get from that tarot reading, I am going to use a Bayesian calculator here to try to calculate the conditional probability of whatever potential future seems to be indicated based on other data that I know right now, and see whether or not the conditional probability calculator using Bayes' theorem can be able to better predict, or better hone a tarot card reading. So here we go. Just give me a moment. I'm going to go to okay, here we go. So we've got this one from Social Science Statistics. Here's StatTrek. StatTrek's always a good source. Okay, find I, PB, PA given B, and PAB, and PB given A. Okay, so I've just got 3 things that I've got to work out here. So we'll let that go in a minute, and I'll explain the process. But before we continue, I'm just going to quickly explain how this works. So PA given B, so the event that A happened, given that another event happened, B, PA is the probability of an event. PB given A is the second event you multiply it to over the probability of all possibilities of B showing up. So I've got this calculator here, and we'll give it a shot in a second. But first, we're now going to pull out the tarot cards and start taking a look at the... We're going to take a look at our future. Now, because of this, I also want to talk a little bit in future streams about how we can further use these tools to be able to use magic and math together to be able to, go from there. But we'll see how it all plays out. In the meantime, though, I'm going to pull out the deck of tarot cards. 1 second here. Okay, now bear in mind, I am new to tarot, so I am still working this out, but this will be a good test to see how things turn out. So, got the tarot cards here. Thoroughly mix them once or twice. I'm also going to check the chat to see if anybody's shown up in the past little while, because if I have, I've missed them. Nope, nobody here. So that takes care of that. But that's okay. So yeah, we'll do thorough reading here. And here we go. Top 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Now I know that they are looking, that the left card is this most one, but since I'm the one doing the reading, once I've got my little reminder sheet up and running, I'm going to flip the cards from my left to right, which means that you will be seeing them on my left shoulder. So the card that is this card right here is the one on my left, as you can tell from my avatar body, or from the body that I'm using. But anyway, from my body, but you get the idea. So, give me a moment here. I'm just looking up the one thing I need. This is what happens when I take things a little too long. There we go. Okay. So now that this is up, I'm now going to start flipping over the cards and we'll take a look at what they are. Remember, reading from my direction, so everything will be reading from my perspective, whether it's they're divorced or not, reversed or not. 6 of Pentacles. So let's see. 6 of Pentacles is the past. This is a past, present, future. So let's see. So 6 of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles in divinatory readings means presence, gifts, gratification. Another account says attention, vigilance, accepted, now it's the accepted time, present, prosperity, etc. So that's the past we're coming from. So given that we had... hello, we finally got someone in. 1 second while I say hello to the new viewer. Hello. Kind of. What I'm doing, hey TC, welcome to the chat. What we're doing is we're doing a different look at tarot, because there are actual mathematical formulas that have been produced in the past to predict potential futures given previous events happening. So what I'm trying to do is, in the part of discussing the science of the spirit, etc., how magic defines reality, I am literally doing a tarot reading, and then I am taking that tarot reading and using conditional probability to try to make it more precise. So yeah, hey, welcome to the stream. I'm just doing a general tarot reading right now, and just generally where the world's at kind of now. And based on the interpretations of what the tarot reading is, I'm going to work out the probabilities for the past, the future, and stuff like that, and then put a number to it, and then I can see how likely the future is that the tarot cards predicted based on a statistical formula. Or maybe it will give us a shaping towards what a more likely future is. So, yeah, basically I'm trying to see whether or not the statistical and the spiritual can be merged into one facet. I'm also posting these to my channel on YouTube. The way that this is set up, hey TC, is that I have given no trace back to this. Okay. No. I'm not saying I'm using AI. I'm saying I'm using conditional probability. I said I'm using what I'm using is I'm using a formula based on I'm using a calculator for a specific formula called conditional probability, which basically predicts how likely an event is going to happen given that something else happened, given that a second event happened. So I'm using the tarot reading to provide the past and potential future events, and then I'm using conditional probability to calculate how likely the future is that was shown by the tarot reading. So in other words, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use conditional probability as a method of honing spiritual intuitiveness. You know, since tarot is supposed to give you an insight into your life and see potential futures and, you know, paths for you to go, I'm trying to use that in conjunction with statistical tools that I learned as part of my background in background being a physics major and stuff like that, as well as a magician, and learning to use that in the readings and, you know, conjunction with what's up on screen. So you get the idea. Sorry, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but this is basically the idea. I'm trying to use probability to further hone intuition. And this is a test, for lack of a better word. If you'd like, hey TC, I can scrap the reading I'm currently doing and do a fresh one for you. This way it's personalized to you, and we can also test in real time to see whether or not it actually works for people. Thoughts, hey TC? Hello? Well, while that person is typing up their response anyway, I'm going to continue with the tarot reading that we read. Oh, you're a magician, hey TC. Okay, well then, I'll be perfectly clear. I am a magician as well, and I also have some academic publications behind my name, which I won't talk about in real life because reasons of, you know, protecting my anonymity from being being a VTuber and stuff like that. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to give those who claim that tarot, etc., has actual predictive power the benefit of the doubt, and I'm trying to apply mathematical and statistical measures to this method in order to be able to see whether or not it is whether or not it can be supported by the statistics, and if so, can it also be used as a method for poor man's psychology or other, while in conjunction. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to lag bad while you're driving, but that's kind of where we are. Anyway, I'll finish off the reading I've got now. So this one was talking about an abundant. This card was talking about abundance of gifts. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm doing the best I can, but, you know, Twitch is being what it is. I don't think it's the tarot. Okay, well, yeah, like I said, I've double checked with my OBS and everything. You think it's the magician? No, you're probably right. Anyone can read a definition. You do have a point, hey TC, but the other part of it is, though, is that, you know, some of these people who do tarot readings claim to be able to give more in-depth advice and stuff like that. So that's why I'm trying this new experiment out. I don't necessarily expect it will lead to anything, but I figure at least it's a good way to give a good test of this thing as a predictive element. You know what I mean? And since I'm new to it, this will be a perfect way to test it because I'm not an experienced tarot reader. I'm going in blind so we can test the actual... No, it's not me? Oh, it's you driving. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. But anyway, I'll finish off this tarot reading that I was working on here. So this was abundance gifts. That was the past. So let me just move that back a little bit more so you can see it in the screen because I've got a window blocking the magic camera. The next card that we have is the Knight of Cups reversed. So let me quickly do that, and then I'll, based on the readings, together I'll set up the conditional probability calculation. So Knight of Cups. Divinatory meanings are arrival, approach, sometimes that of a messenger, proposes, proposition, demeanor, invitation, or incitement. Okay, so a messenger arriving of some description, trying to incite something or what have you. Oh wait, no, Knight of Cups reversed. I missed that. So let's try that again. See, I'm new to this. This is all the more reason why I need to be dealing with this. Okay, so the current reversed fate for the state of the world is trickery, artifice, swindling, duplicity, and fraud. So we already know that the past was good, then duplicity and fraud came in. I think I know what that's a referral to. There are multiple instances of that happening these days. So we can, from multiple possible sources, put the given B of multiple fraud at, say, so let's go into the window with the probability calculation. Okay, no, I don't want that. Get out of that. Close, thank you. Okay, so probability of B is probably around 0.8. So let's give that a rough 80% because while 20% of the world is still good, there are so many sources of potential fraud and stuff like that going on in the world right now on major scales that, and deceit and duplicitousness that, we can pretty much be given that it was bound to happen. So an 80% is probably a good, reasonable probability. There was a reasonable chance that some elections might have gone better, but, that's the a priori probability of all the possible ways that fraud can come in. So that's that. Now we'll read the third card and see what the potential future holds. So this one here, flipping it over, 10 of Pentacles reversed. So let's see. So 10 of Pentacles first. 10 of Pentacles, where are we here? Yeah. So 10 of Pentacles reversed means chance, fatality, loss, robbery, games of hazard, sometimes gift, dowry, pension. So anything from gambling, from fatality, loss, and robbery, clean through to gift, dowry, or pension. Well, the bulk of those definitions seem to be about fatality, loss, robbery, and other negative things. So if the fraud of the majority of the world looks like that a lot of people are going to be suffering negative fatality and death, well, the probability of death at some point is inevitable. However, the probability of death given an age group, all things being equal, will vary from place to place. So let's say since half of those interpretations were all death, loss, all the negative things, etc. Since half of those interpretations were that, let's leave PA given B let's find PB given A at, so let's see. So high death, given probability. Okay, so that's going to be 0.5 times 0.8. So let me quickly calculate that using a calculator here. So 0.5 times, let's say another 0.8 because, death and loss are a high likelihood. Actually, let's make it a 0.7 given that we are 0.5 times 0.7. So death and disaster given probability of B, which is fraud, etc. So 0.35. Now let's calculate the actual probability of A given B. This future given what we've seen. Oh, oops! I misdid this. So probability of A is 0.5. That's better. So probability of A given B, 0.5, 0.8 for probability of B. Probability of probability of B given probability of A. So B given A is 0.5 times 0.8. .5 times 0.8. No, probability of B given A is, PA times PA given B. So let's try PB given A is, let's say, 0.7, 0.7. One more time. Come on, don't screw me here. And we will complete that and summary report. And apparently it didn't actually find the calculation probability like it was supposed to. So you know what? Let's do it by calculator. Calculate. There we go. 0.4375. So now that we finally got this and finally got the calculation correct, it was 0.4375 is the conditional probability of this future happening given these results. So I was going to say, so to everyone who just came in, just to recap what happened here, we did a tarot reading where we had 6 of Pentacles, Knight of Cups reversed, and 10 of Cups reversed. We had that the past was gifts and good stuff, fraud coming, and with that deceit and with that death and deceit as the possible future. We calculated out the probability of calculated out the probability of this future, the 10 of Pentacles reversed, happening given the other 2 cards, and the actual probability is only about 43% likelihood given Bayes' theorem conditional probability. So that does mean that there's plenty of more room for change, and it also means that the world is not as dire as it seems. So we were able to use successfully conditional probability in conjunction with tarot to predict a future that things are not as bad as they seem. So in other words, we were literally able to use the inputs from a tarot deck to complete a probability calculation and thus give us a likelihood of how our potential future is going to show up, which means ton of death and deceit. But so far, given that we also have the facts that in certain political arenas, there are a lot of negatives, but there are a lot of positives happening, about 50-50, depending where you are. That does mean that the statistical probability seems to bear out that the tarot was able to be disputed, and we were able to see a more likely future by using conditional probability to test the tarot future. Yeah, I know this is a little difficult, HTC. But this is what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to see about, but like I said, the conditional probability theory literally, this literally debunked a potential future that was being described as negative by tarot. Now, according to what I've heard about tarot, no future is set in stone. There's always room for wiggle room. But by being able to actually see that the actual future predicted was only about 43% likely, shows that the majority of things are actually probably going to be going good if we work on it, and we'll have a better future off overall when it comes to the general state of world affairs. Things are getting better, and this is kind of a way of merging science and spiritual to predict it. So, this is the point of what's going on right now, and I've been on for 39 minutes, so since I've got a couple of people in the chat now, on this streaming site, does anybody else want a personal tarot reading so that we can try to replicate this for individual people and see whether or not this technique can actually glean information out of a person's life and predict a likely future based on Bayes' theorem and, the data coming off the cards? Does anyone want to try? So yeah, we've still got HTC. Devramos Dinser and Scorpio Darkness, also welcome. And, if you guys want to, if anybody's still here and wants to, feel free to join in and try this technique one more time. That's great. And if not, well, I can end stream soon. Oh, you do when you're home. Oh, okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I know this is a little different, but this is what I'm talking about, is that, I'm trying to find a way to look at the spirit with a critical thinking eye. Okay, you're going to be home in about 10 minutes. Okay. Well, I can move on to a couple of magic tricks to a couple of magic tricks to illustrate the time while you're home. And then when you're home, hey, TC, we can try one more of these predictive card tricks. And then we can post everything then I can end the stream, post everything to my YouTube channel, which is linked through here. Just as a heads up for you guys in chat, so this way I know that things are, so this way you know where I'm planning with these things. I have linked my YouTube through my streaming service, but not my streaming service through my YouTube. This may anyone who finds me, if they find me through the YouTube side, has to track me down. And anyone who finds me through Twitch is meant, or through the streaming service, is meant to find me. But basically, it means that I only get people who really want to watch the show, not just or want to talk about what's going on the screen, not just random people. Yeah, if I get to read you. Yeah. Well, you can do if you want, hey TC, but I'm still going to be doing this statistical thing in conjunction if you want. We'll just go from there. We'll see how long it takes for you to get home. But yeah, while we're waiting, I'm going to pull out a couple more magic tricks here. So I was talking earlier in this video project about how we could use magic to be able to start solving problems in other fields. Well, here for a prime example is a classic where I can do a demonstration of something where literally all I have to do is literally just pull magic tricks out of thin air. And in the process of that, what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to show you guys how dimensional shifting, as predicted by string theory, can be faked or mimicked just by simple sleight of hand. So all I need to do is take this ball, and I just give it a quick squeeze, and lo and behold, there's one. The other one seems to have gone walkies. I wonder where it got to. Well, no matter. Anyway, I've still got the ball here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ball, and I'm going to squeeze it real tight, and lo and behold, out comes a cube. I managed to turn the ball into a cube. And now I just roll back time. And lo and behold, the ball's again the same normal way. Now, yes, I revealed that trick, but because of the reason I was doing it was to illustrate a point about how I was using it to illustrate a point about how about how magic can be faked so easily. By the way, remember that one ball that I had? Well, lucky me, I managed to split it into two. Now I'm going to take one ball over here. I'm going to take the other ball here, and I'm going to squeeze it real tight. And now, lo and behold, 1, 2, 3. And lo and behold, both balls have teleported to my left hand. But yeah, just so that gives you an idea of how teleportation and wormholes and stuff can be faked, even though these are serious discussion points in science papers and stuff like that right now. For those who are watching on YouTube and not the streaming site, all resources will be posted in the video description after this is done. So yeah, just little heads up for you guys there. But yeah, hey TC, are you back at home now, or so I can do that reading for you and you can do one for me, or do you want to, or are you still driving and need to wait? Oh, also, I wanted to say thanks for the 2 followers Devermose Dinzer and Divine Readings by Christine. Thank you for both of you for following me. I wasn't expecting any follows based on this. Like I said, I'm just trying something new here. The reason I picked the Tarot channel rather than the Science and Technology channel for this is because I knew that the Science and Technology channel was not going to pay attention to a lot of the stuff that is directly relevant to, the fact that there's a lot of areas involving spiritual and other things like that that are needing to be properly analyzed, especially considering that, there are videos I've posted in conjunction with my fellows on the YouTube channel. But during there, I've given a case for psi, but almost all the evidence is statistical and in conjunction with the evidence for quantum entanglement of the brain. So in order to be able to do good, you're almost there, HTC. So in order to be able to do a proper analysis of both spirit and psi, we need to be able to figure out, well, how does one fake it? And I've shown you a couple of tricks to illustrate how how dimensional manipulation and stuff can be faked. But I need to show you now some genuine faking of psychic abilities so that people can be able to tell the difference between when something statistical like tarot or statistical like psi results is being done versus magic that is being claimed as genuine psychic abilities. So, in order to be able to spare the difference here, I am actually going to use my tarot deck for a magic trick. Yes, I have an understanding with my tarot deck that I am allowed to do this for the purposes of illustration. This is purely to illustrate how I'm able to make it appear that I know more than I actually do. So for this one, we're going to take the tarot deck, shuffle it on the table here. And this time, we will pull this up. Now, for the next one, we're going to give these guys a quick cut here. Just give me a sec, so this way they're done. And I'm going to do one. Whoops, almost lost a card there. Nope, don't do that. Now I'm going to do one more quick shuffle. And I'm going to stop at a random location. Let's stop. Get this riffling so I can actually do this properly. Actually, I'll riffle it this way. Riffle this through so that it stops at a random position. And now I predict that the card that was stopped at is going to be the Page of Cups. And it will be reversed. Page of Cups, reversed from my perspective. So the question is, how did I do that? Well, that is a way that a tarot reader can also fake a reading by forcing cards. It was known as a card force, and I'll show you how I did it. For this particular trick, all you need to know is the bottom card of the deck. In this particular case, Four of Cups. So that's going to be that way, and it'll be... So then I shuffle it up to the top of the deck. Now I scroll down, and whatever card I stop at, well, I forced that particular card, so I know that this particular card is the Four of Cups. And it is straight up. Since, reversed for me, so Four of Cups reversed. But that gives you an idea of how a simple magic trick can be used. According to one magic documentary I watched years ago, there was an explanation that the reason why playing cards came along and before they became staples of magicians' tools were actually there for fortune-telling purposes. So there is a bit of a history of the mix between the stage magic and classic possible real magic. So I figured let's take a look at both. Hey TC, so 0 means that you're home? So once HTC is back in and ready to go, we will post the tarot reading for them, and then they can do one for me. So I've got the deck ready to go. It's just a matter of waiting for the waiting for HTC to be ready for their reading. I'm just trying to think about other ways I can simulate psychic activity that would be a good way to think of it, because I know that there's marked cards, but these are all more for testing, for being able to predict more general events. Some psychics use a technique called cold reading, which can closely tie into tarot if you're not careful. Yeah, I think that's basically pretty much everything I've covered for now. Good. So Hey TC is home. So Hey TC, we can now do your reading if you'd like. I have a question for you. Would you prefer to type your question in the chat so that this way we can do something very specific and test the statistical part together? Or do you want to hold the question in your head and see if the cards can pick up what you're, on what you're, thinking about? You know, just to see if there's genuinely a spiritual or entanglement connection with the cards. So do you want to hold the card in your head or type the card in the chat? Or do you want to hold your question in the head or hold your question in your head or type your question in the chat? That's what I'm trying to ask. Sorry, I'm getting a little frazzled. Just it's been an interesting day. Let's leave it at that. So let's see. So, hey, TC, do you want to type your question or hold it to yourself? Just Theorem? Okay. Just give me a sec. Okay, so just throw them out. Okay, so here we go. I am going to try a 3-card reading for you, and we'll try to see what your future says, and then we'll use the conditional probability calculator to calculate the likelihood of the future being suggested. Yeah, that was the plan. That's why I asked when you said just throw them. So yeah, I'm going to read the 3 cards for you. We're going to read what the cards mean, and then based on that, you like interesting days, yeah. But yeah, I've had a bit of an interesting day in the sense of the bad interesting day. So it's been, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I'll throw the cards. We'll do a reading. Then I'll use the statistical calculator, and we'll see about how likely your future is. So here we go. So giving these guys one more legitimate shuffle, or at least a couple of legitimate shuffles, because I want to make sure that these are properly set up from the last magic trick I did and getting rid of any potential interference from that. That's why I do magic tricks with my tarot sometimes. The deck is okay, but I have to give it a couple of randomized shuffles afterwards to knock out whatever I last did with the deck so it's properly fair, as it were, in terms of what I'm going to get. Now give these guys a quick cut so I don't know where I am. And here we go. So 1, 2, 3. Now, just to recap, Hey TC, when I read these cards, I am going to be reading them from left to right as per my perspective. So you see that my left shoulder is on the bottom right of the screen. So right screen equals my left shoulder, so I'll be reading from left to right, just flipping them over in that way. So here we go. In order to answer the question, I will get up my definitional sheet just so I don't miss anything. Here we go. All right, let's start the reading for Hey TC. And these are being read from my perspective. So if it's reversed, it will be reversed from my perspective, not from yours. Because remember, I'm facing the computer and the cards, so that's how this works. All right, first card over. 10 of Pentacles, reversed. 10 of Pentacles, reversed. Chaos, fatality, loss, robbery, games of hazard, sometimes gift, dowry, or pension. So that was your past. Chaos, fatality, all the negative stuff. Your present is 7 of Swords. Seven of Swords reads... Hang on, I'm getting to the swords. I seem to have misplaced them in the... Here we go. So Seven of Swords reversed. Seven of Swords upright. Divinatory meanings. Design, attempt, wish, hope, confidence, also quarreling. A plan that may fail, annoyance. So hope, but a lot of quarreling in a possible plan that may be coming to fail. That is the present that apparently has given, that has been the given. So now let's take a look at your future. Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. So Pentacles is up here. No, that's Wands. Pentacles is on the other end. So let's see. Four of Pentacles reversed means suspense, delay, and opposition. So apparently, according to the cards, HeyTC, you've already had a quarrel coming in, and it looks like ongoing opposition is your future. Now, quarrels are a common enough strife, and Ten of Pentacles reversed, just so this way I know what's going into it to give us the past. So chance, fatality, loss, robbery, etc. So chance leading to a quarrel. Chance, fatality, loss, robbery, etc., leading to a quarrel and ongoing strife continuing. So just more of the same. Now, let's run this through the calculator. So once I pull up the calculator here, we're going to find the probability of your future given that you are having a quarrel right now. So let's say probability of A, let's say probability of a quarrel of some discord almost happening is going to be 99% likely. That's just a given. Probability of A, more of the same BS continuing, is about 0.5 because there's a 50-50 shot you'll be able to get over the argument. And the probability of there being a quarrel given that you are having a quarrel, so that's going to be 0.5 times 0.99. 0.5 times... No, so B given A. No, it's not 0.5 times 0.99. 0.99 is the all possible ways you could get an argument. So the other inverse probability is, we'll just say 0.5 on that one as well. And calculate a 25% likelihood. So 25% likelihood, 25% likelihood that you're going to continue with a ongoing, that you're going to continue with this ongoing quarrel. It will eventually dissipate. So this future, if it does happen, is not too immediate. So HeyTC, it looks like, to summarize, you're having a quarrel. You're having a quarrel with somebody right now, and it looks like it's ongoing adversarialness in your future, according to the tarot. But if we take a look at the probabilities of everything going on, the likelihood of this future continuing is only about 25%. This is the second time we've also discovered that the future predicted by the tarot is a minority probability. So this is still telling us something, but this is still telling us something, but at the same time, it's also discovering that the future predicted by the tarot cards is actually being pointed away from by the mathematics. So in a way, this does actually help you be able to take a look at your potential future by seeing another more likely future based on the conditional probability of this of this future happening, given the past and present that led to it. Now, that's also assuming that the probabilities are likely that these two cards are accurate. So, there may be more probabilities involved, but I'm going to assume, for the sake of argument, that the archetypes are still accurate. So, therefore, the high probabilities in the initial are still good. So, HeyTC, what did you think of your reading thus far? Sorry. Well, if it was bad, let me know, because this will also disprove this idea of using statistics with Tarot. So definitely not quarrel. Okay. So this is why. So maybe maybe the fact as well that, okay, so if there's no quarrel, then the probability of the present was a low probability anyway. You're chilling alone at PC. Okay, well, that basically says that the tarot reading was wrong. So the math literally showed that if it was a 25% likelihood, maybe the 25% of the future being right was also because of the fact that the whole bloody thing was wrong. So it also disproved the tarot in that particular case. Either way, the future coming out from the tarot was shown to be different by the math. So we do know that conditional probability, if you set the probabilities initially correctly, will give you an accurate read on the tarot. But so far, apparently, just throwing them and just giving definitions is not enough to be able to read the future. That's why these stats are extremely useful at being able to comment on the tarot reading's accuracy or lack thereof. So, mathematics plus intuition. Apparently it does work at revealing what futures are more likely. Not in the way I intended, but it does do a thing. Now, hey TC, you said you wanted to read me. So I'm going to put these tarot cards away, and you can give me a reading through the chat, and I'll just repeat it on the video/stream here, and we'll go from there. You don't want to know anything about me. Well, that's fair. Same as I didn't know anything about you. That's why I tried to. I don't think there's a way to call in from here, so you'll have to do it through the chat, and I'll just relate what you write in the chat onto the video. I don't have a method for calling in right now. This streaming site doesn't allow for call-ins unless you're using Discord or some other service, and I don't have that set up right now. I'm rebuilding my streaming after an accident happened with my streaming stuff a while back, and long story. Okay, so let's see what HeyTC has for me today. Okay, well, while you're doing a few and getting your tarot deck and everything, I'm going to do one more magic trick, I think, just to illustrate the time frame. And let's see, what can I do that I haven't done yet? That would be fun. Oh, I know. An old classic. Here we go. So, what I've got here is a cup and a ball. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show that this ball is completely empty, this cup is completely empty. Right there. And I'm going to put the ball on top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze. Focus. See if I can pass it through the cup. And lo and behold, snap my fingers, and the ball's back under the cup. Now I'm going to take this ball away over here. Once again, show the cup is completely empty. Move it to there so it's in clear view. And even though the ball is still over here, right over here, I'm going to put the ball back over here. The ball is under the cup. Now the question is, was there teleportation, wormholes, sleight of hand, or something else involved? I'll leave it to you, the viewing audience, to be the judge. So now, while we're waiting for HeyTC, I'm going to check to see how long we've been live for. An hour and 5. Not bad. I'm actually managing to maintain a decent stream time. But yeah. Anyway, one step at a time and all that, and we'll just continue from there. While HTC is working on doing my reading, this will be a comparison point between the new method that I've come up with using statistics and tarot and straight tarot, because this particular viewer will be, when they've got their deck, etc. together, will be reading me directly, and while knowing nothing about me, will be able to see whether or not the tarot actually more accurately picks me up, just using straight intuition without any calculations involved. So, hey, TC, are you still there? Let's see, what else is in my repertoire while we're waiting? Oh, I know. I can use science textbooks to create a mind-reading illusion. And we can even do it using a couple of textbooks involving wormholes and quantum entanglement. So we could literally see if a wormhole connection is possible to transfer information via entanglement using just 2 books on quantum mechanics and general relativity. Let me get the titles in here so you can see them clear. There's gravity and there's quantum mechanics. So first, I'm just going to flip through the quantum mechanics textbook just to show you it is an ordinary book, because I'm pulling at random. And just like showing, it is an ordinary book. Just going through and getting everything done. Okay. And one more time, let's go back through it while we're waiting. Okay, so yeah, just doing that all the way through so you can see that that is a normal book. Or better yet, I'll do it this way. See, ordinary book. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to leave this book here. Then I'm going to take this book, and we're going to use it as a randomizer. Whatever page I flip into on the gravity book is the one we'll flip to in the quantum mechanics book. And then I'm going to predict what the first word on the page in the quantum mechanics textbook will be. So let's see. This will be a... so let's go through here. Good. So I stopped down here, if I can get it into the shot. Up. Down. Page 172. Okay, so we're going to flip to page 172 in this book, Quantum Mechanics, and I predict the first word in the text on this page has 2 T's, a P, and is a word about placement. It is putting. Let's flip to page 172 in the Quantum Mechanics book. 172, and lo and behold, as you can see right there, once I get it in shot, hang on. You can see the first word on page 172 is putting. So we stopped at a random page, and I was able to predict the word that would be in the textbook on that random page from this other side. So, question is, how did I do that? I'll leave you guys to figure out the answer. Hey, TC, are you ready to do the reading for me? Hey, TC, you there? Let's see if He's still in the chat according to the user. One new person has also arrived. Hey, Causal, or C0ZZ1E. I'm not sure how to read that, so I'm going to read it as Causal until you tell me otherwise. So yeah, still waiting on a viewer to do a tarot reading for me. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if Causal, if you're in the room, feel free to type in the chat, and I'll offer you a tarot reading with statistics added as a second replication attempt. There's Hey TC. Perfect. So we get my tarot reading now, and we'll go from there. All right, Hey TC. Let me at it. Let me have it. What are you seeing about my life, and what are you seeing? But yeah, while we're waiting, I'm just going to read what comes up in the chat, and then we'll go from there. Okay, thanks for letting me know. My desire for control. Yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing. I wouldn't say controlling everything. I would say more wanting to know about everything so I can control my own responses. It's okay. Yes and no. This comes from a place, I'm going to reveal a little bit about myself, which, feel free to complete the reading and then I'll reveal a bit about myself. Yeah, I'll wait till you're done and then I'll reveal, because there's some personal history. There's some personal history that's involved in this relationships, desire for control. Maybe. I'm going to have to do a little bit more thinking about that, given some things that have been recently happening. Yeah. No. Sorry. No. I'm repeating. Yeah, I know. You told me you're a magician too. I'm also the failing business. Stop worrying myself. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. This is one, to put it politely, Hey TC, this stream is one attempt at not just trying to, I'm not trying to take control directly per se, but it's also another way of trying to answer a lot of questions that I have about things that appear to overlap, but normally people keep separate. One of the title for my YouTube channel is called Overlapping Magisteria, which is kind of the bridge between worlds. So trying to balance faith and reason and seeing how that can be done, if at all possible, is an exercise that I don't see many people having tried beyond philosophical realms. So I'm wanting to get some more answers on this. It's less that I want control in these areas and more that I want to know what's actually going on, so that this way I can take control of my own actions better. It's less about control in the environment, and the same goes for my relationships too. The problem is that I want to be better knowing what's going on. I want to better know, because the more I know, the more comfortable I feel. Not because I'm in control, but because I know what's going on and I can have better control of myself. And since the only person I can control is myself, having a better handle on knowing how to act, make sure that I'm actually doing the thing right, So that's why I was trying this particular idea. And No, I understand, and you're right. It is okay, and thank you for letting me know to stop worrying myself. It's the need for control is taking control. As for the failed business, that is a very specific thing that I'm not going to be able to talk about on stream because that talks about my private life. But the failed business is not failed; it is still under review. Yeah, it's under review right now, and once I have more details on that, I will be able to let things go. It's just been causing me a bit of angst, but I'm not gonna worry myself about it. It's out of my control. It's out of my hands, and we'll just go from there. So, thanks for the reading, Hey TC. Well, no, it's all right. It's all right. I'm like, oh, you weren't done yet. Okay, well, keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please continue. Yeah, I know. It's all right. No. Feel free to continue, Hey TC. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm on the spectrum, so I have to process data in bite-sized chunks whenever I'm told it. So I'm processing the bits that you've told me thus far, fitting them into where things are right now, and then having you continue. So you were saying. So the next. Hi, Kazi. Welcome to the chat. Feel free to follow or not, your choice. This is me getting a tarot reading at the end of a stream where I was basically talking about uniting spiritual and the scientific and talking about how magic defines reality depending on how we look at it, whether that be stage magic or things we assume is magic like magical thinking or things like tarot. So I'm giving Hey TC a chance here to read me with tarot because I tried a new technique where I tried to use tarot plus conditional probability calculation statistics to see whether or not we could get a more accurate prediction of the future for an individual person. The prediction was accurate, just not the tarot part of it. So given the way that a priori probabilities worked out, some things were, relatively good, all things considered. To me, Kazi, one person's magic is another person's science that is yet to be explained. So what I'm saying is that I do believe that there are some things that as yet are unexplained out there, and I believe that there is a scientific explanation for them in a way that we have not yet directly perceived. So I want to answer these questions by re-examining them with mathematical and other tools. I don't necessarily know they can't be answered. I just don't know that they can't be answered right now. So I'm testing possible answers to see whether or not there is a way to get an answer about these things using more rigorous methods. I mean, parapsychologists do it all the time with psi, so I figure why not I try it with a few advanced things. And there's the cat jumping across that barrier. But yeah, you were saying, Hey TC, please continue with your reading. I didn't mean to interrupt with Kazi, but you were still finishing the reading, so I wanted to get the rest of that before everything else. But yeah, if I could get the rest of the reading from you, so this way we can finish that off, and then after your reading, I'm probably going to give a summary of everything that's happened in the broadcast today, and then post the whole thing to YouTube after I transfer it over. No, it's okay. It's okay. I've got enough energy for the rest of the reading. I promised myself to finish the reading, and then once I had that and analyzed it compared to the other one, you can help me with my anxiety. Yeah, I do. But with respect to that, I would ask for help, Hey TC. Can you whisper me afterwards about that, and we can talk about that in a private, more setting after stream is over? The reason I don't want to do that is because my anxiety ties into a lot of personal stuff, so I don't want to get into areas where I'm revealing personal info too far or potentially doxing myself. Yeah, so whisper me with the rest of the details on this, and we'll go from there. But I will say that you are pretty accurate. No, I know. I know, but I just, I know, hey, TC. But I'm just saying, given the reading, if you can help with my anxiety, I think it would be best if I talked about it to you in private. Just a girl that's a magician. I understand. And that makes sense. And I'm, who likes tarot, which makes sense. So, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad to hear that there's another magician who likes tarot for tarot's sake. So we've compared natural tarot to statistical tarot. And statistical tarot, for my purposes, does seem to reveal the likelihood of a future happening, which also confirmed that the likelihood of a reading being inaccurate was there. So, the Bayes theorem did do its job, just not in the way I expected. So yeah, we'll continue working that. Oh, we got another follow from SLG Jenny Vlogs. So. Yeah. So we've got people talking in the chat now. Hi, welcome to the stream. You're all literally popping in just as I'm getting ready to wind up, because I literally spent about an hour and a bit. Let me actually check the time on here. Give me a sec. Yeah, I've been at this for an hour and 20. So, I normally don't run streams this long. No. It's okay, Jenny. I'm just letting you know, I know you said you're sorry, but I'm just letting you know, hey, feel free to stick by because I will be back with more of these streams. I'm doing it's okay, hey TC. I got a little overwhelmed, but it started crossing in that reading was so accurate. It started crossing into areas where I knew I was going to have to reveal personal info. So it worked out. But yeah, I'm going to be broadcasting on tarot and other categories for a little while. I'm going to be doing that for a little while. This guy, give me a moment. Where is this? No, I don't want that. Where is the? Thank you. There we go. That one is blocked. Sorry. Somebody tried to post spam in my chat. I don't go for that. I don't mind conversation. That's the whole point of why I hold these streams, is for in-depth thought and conversation. But I don't like when bots come in and start advertising for other sites or to get viewers or stuff like that. Like, I don't like those kind of ads. Anyway, yeah, but I mean, they're fun, but they kind of get in the way of what I'm trying to do. So I do have that one rule to myself that, if you're here to try to get me to buy more, if you're here to try to get me to buy more views on some other site or what have you, I'm not going to do that. I'm here to maintain the integrity of my streams and, the actual content that I came to do and what people talk about in response to that content. Yeah. You see exactly what I mean, Kazi. Yeah, you see exactly what I mean. Anyway, so it has been an hour and 20. Sorry, Jenny. Just bots that were trying to get me to move to another site and get special views and for paying and stuff. It's just bots being, spammy stuff. I don't like it, so I get rid of it. But yeah, anyway, so to recap what we've done today, we talked a little bit about how the brain cannot process all of reality, because if we did, the sheer metabolic rate and information processing power needed to do anything, needed to process as reality as it is, would be impossible for our bodies to maintain. So I quoted a neuroscientist on that. I talked a little bit about how there may be extra-dimensional and entanglement-based activity, which is syncing neural firing, which explains how the brain works. This also means that if quantum information cannot be destroyed, that may mean that some parts of our brain's information may be quantum teleported out upon the body's death, because the information has to be stored somewhere. Well, that's even more interesting, hey TC. I'm a lovable alien catboy from a parallel universe myself, so, multiversal alien, I guess. But yeah, if you are an alien, that wouldn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me, hey TC. I've known a lot of people over my time who for one reason or another, have memories of being an alien or explain, how it can point to signs that they're an alien from another parallel universe or something. I keep a lot of documentation on a lot of stuff, some of which I've released in peer-reviewed and other scholarly forms, some of which I haven't because I'm still going over that data and analyzing it. But so that's pretty much it for this. That's pretty much it for this stream at this point, at least that I can think of. We did some magic tricks to fake psychic phenomena. We did some magic tricks to explain how things like quantum entanglement can be properly solved, possibly by looking for the blind spots in our brain using magic tricks and various other things, dimensional shifting. So yeah, we've done a lot of stuff, covered a lot of science, merged it with spirituality. The big one being using conditional probability and statistics to further hone spiritual predictive capabilities like tarot. And we did see that there was some accuracy on the statistical front, even if it showed that the reading itself was inaccurate. So thanks for that, HeyTC. You literally helped show how statistics can be used to check a tarot reading, literally based on the one we did for you. So with that being in mind, thanks everyone for watching. This has been Magi. I'll be posting this over to the YouTube site as soon as it's done, so you can watch the whole thing. And if there's interruptions, well, c'est la vie, but, this is a test case, so we'll see how it all plays out. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, stay frosty. And to all of my viewers in here, Kazi, HeyTC, and Jenny, yeah, I'll send you a DM later, HeyTC. But for everyone else, thanks for watching the stream, and for those of you who did watch the stream, feel free to pop over to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you'll find me on the streaming site one day. If you're from the streaming site, pop over to my YouTube channel to watch the whole thing. And yeah, we'll go from there. As always, everyone, thanks again, and stay frosty.